You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 15th meeting for the Trail Creek Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
And it is 7 o'clock. If I can have everyone stand to join me in saying the pledge to open our meeting.
Please do remember to enter your microphone on next time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April meeting for the town of Trail Creek. We have two guests this evening, and I know that they are listed under new business on your agenda, but we're going to make the adjustment to moving them to the top of the meeting. First up, we have Swanson Center, who is here to request use of our streets for their annual 5K. If you would approach the podium, please do make sure you turn the mic on by pressing the back button at the bottom.
Hello. I met you all last year. It's nice to see you again, and thank you for having me tonight. My name is Nikki Hufford, and I am one of the managers at the Swanson Center. And we did hold our inaugural event last year with the town of Trail Creek. We're here tonight to formally request your approval to hold this second annual 5K. Our event will be held on September 13th, 2025, and this year's theme will be Follow the Road to Hope. Our goal is to raise suicide awareness in LaPorte County. With this being our second year for the event, we have a clear expectations as to the number of participants to expect. We do plan to work with various department heads of the town to control parking, maintain traffic flow, and to properly address any other possible issues that may arise during the event or during the planning process. Swanson Center has been the community mental health center for LaPorte County for more than 50 years, and as such provides complete mental and behavioral health services to those who live and or work in LaPorte County. It is our hope that through this event, we will help break the silence surrounding suicide, stop the stigma, and raise awareness that there is hope for those struggling with various mental health concerns. So I'm just asking for your permission to hold our event again, as we did last year at Nelson Park. And then obviously it runs through parts of the town.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
What is the name of the event exactly? Follow the Road?
Follow the Road to Hope is the theme of the event. The event itself is the Run for Hope. 5K, Run for Hope.
And so in full disclosure, I do also work for Swanson Center, and I am the co-chair for the event, being the director of our foundation for Swanson Center. So I will recuse myself from voting on this. Although if there are questions about the event specifically, both Nikki and I can answer those.
I know there were concerns about parking last year. It did not end up being an issue. We had overflow parking at the church.
And I think Steve can also attest to this. There were no
was
issues.
Present, which we appreciated.
I was gonna run it, but I had to be available.
Thank you for that.
Starts at 8 a.m. I'm going to put it on our website, on our calendar. 8 a.m.?
At 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. Okay.
We will have flyers available soon. We just, of course, had to confirm.
And I'd appreciate a flyer too.
Absolutely.
And so the request is on the table. We would appreciate approval from the council, so we need a motion to approve the Swanson Center 5K Run for Hope to utilize the town of Trail Creek at Nelson Park specifically, and then usage of the streets on September 13th for the 5K Run for Hope.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will again recuse myself from that vote. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
That's not fun.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our Eagle Scout candidate, Daniel Cohn.
Good evening, Council. As Ms. Heath said, my name is Daniel Cohen. I am from Troop 876, based out of Whitwell Saints Catholic Church. I am currently a Life Scout on the road to becoming an Eagle, and I have a proposition to make in that not only would we do minor renovations for the area near the town hall, that kind of outdoor gazebo area that I'm sure you're all familiar with, and on top of that, the main course being that we make, I believe the idea was 2 flower boxes. They would be decent size, and all I ask is that I have your permission and to have a appointed representative, not only to make it easier for myself, but for the paperwork. And if I could acquire dimensions, material composition, time and date, etc. It'll all be completed by myself and other scout members of my troop, and I'll also have a licensed contractor, my godfather, Andy Mellon, to supervise. He can provide any drill bit, tool I could possibly ever imagine, and so that will heavily reduce the burden on myself and you guys. So, any questions, give them to me now, please.
You have questions? I actually have spoken with Daniel about this already, and I've also spoken with our street department to make sure that they're okay with this before we had Daniel come before the council, just to make sure that everyone's all on the same page. Street department said that they were okay with the project, and I talked to Rob specifically from the street department. He said that he would be happy to work with this, and any questions that Daniel had working through the project, he would be happy to work with him. So we do have an appointed person that we would be able to utilize for Daniel to talk to throughout the project and to work with him. So we would need a motion to be able to approve Daniel to go forward with his Eagle Scout project for the town.
I'll make a motion to accept Daniel's proposal.
Okay, in a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
No, you don't have to. You can go.
You can go if you want to.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you.
In the seat, the order got some.
Don't know about that, but thank you. All right, moving on to our regular agenda. We'll go back to the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had time to review the minutes? And if so, do you have any corrections or changes that you've noted? And if there are no changes or corrections, can we have a motion to accept the minutes from the March 18th meeting?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Moving on to approval of the fund report. Has everyone had a chance to review the fund report? And Crystal, is there anything that we should know in particular about the fund report?
Laura asked earlier about the capital development, that we were in a negative. It just comes later in this month, so it'll even itself out by the end of the month. Yep. And other than that, everything looks great.
Because I had the same question about MS4, for the MS4 committees, on the second page. For the PCD settlement fund.
Yeah, I just have to move some monies.
So we'll make the adjustment
Yeah.
there. Okay.
That was because of the CCD grant.
Okay. Otherwise, does anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the fund report?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Warren. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Moving on to the bank reconciliation. I think this is more just for our review, not so much for
Yes,
motion
so,
and approval, so.
note, just for review, if you notice on your fund report, again, I circled in our thing so that you are aware that everything balanced to zero. So, if you notice those two numbers match, that's your fund report and your second page of your bank rec.
Perfect, thank you. Moving on to accounts payable or payment of the bills. Has everyone had a chance to review payment of the bills? Any questions, comments there? We're just going to take one more second to look back through.
It's nicely significant, smaller than the last 2 months.
Yes, thank you for that. Also, always nice to see a rebate thrown in there here and there, even if it's just small. Okay. Hearing no comments or questions, do we have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
We have a co-second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Do we have some correspondence this month?
We received a letter. It does not have a name or a return address. The letter just says, please enforce.
Hold on a second. Do we accept those?
If it does not have a name or an address, it does have an address but doesn't have a name. We'll take it into consideration, but I would advise that we would not read that here at the meeting if it doesn't have a name on it,
Would you like me not to today?
please. But we will take that into consideration.
Okay.
So thank you for that. Moving on, do we have any reports for MS4 that you've heard from
Nothing,
Shen? Okay, then we'll move on to your attorney's report.
one thing I have is some follow-up on Harding. I, once again, talked to the only person who participates in those conversations, which is Attorney Adamski. And it's at a standstill. I did go back and look, and we have a standing building standards order that we sent, which statutorily gave them notice. It
Okay.
says, hey, the town may take action if you do not to bring this in compliance. It's not the same as demolition, but the long and the short with the hope that there might be progress between those other parties. I think it's completely dead. So, and just I want to give the rundown. We have that piece of property that is split between two owners of a lot, and that house and/or the improvements on it are split between two lots. One of them continually pays taxes, but is generally non-responsive. The other was a company that goes around, they bought on tax sale. Well, eventually they, according to them, executed a deed, and they were going to give that to a nonprofit that improves homes and then helps find homes for those that are disadvantaged. But I think that along the process in my discussions that they determined there's some taxes that are owed, and they were not going to take anything that had any burden with it. So their position is, and when you go on the county records, we don't own it, it never transferred. So we're stuck, and truly your options are to go through that demolition process, which costs to start issuing some tight citations that we could take some actions, including maybe getting a court order to do that, well, all of which are in the small claims vein, but I think you're gonna have to have the building commissioner do some of those or decide to take action if we need to board it up, and those costs on the one hand, that the state code and the town code allow you to recoup those costs, but they're out of pockets. No matter how, whatever option, there's nothing that we could do that's not gonna cost you money up front to get their attention.
What's the minimum that we could do to get,
I think that you write some citations and we get them before a judge, and then we could include some of the relief, maybe asking for some injunction, relief that way in addition to collecting those fines. That would be your easiest.
Yeah.
The demolition, as you know, is, you've been down that path and then it didn't go, but
Right.
unfortunately, it's stuck in the game of non-responsive and stuck between two parties that I think the other one's hoping the one will blink or give up, and like I said, even the charity gave up on it.
hypothetical, what happens, because we don't know the condition of the building. What happens if the wall falls out, if something falls, something happens structurally to that thing? Then what?
Well, I think that we're still where, one, the town could take some emergency action to correct that and back charge lien that property. I mean, you're already in that purview if you were to take action to board it up, but as I said, all of those, can we try to force them? Sure, but an LLC owns half of it right now. If that LLC goes belly up or you don't get a hold of them, right, the property is what's at the mercy of whatever you do.
Sure.
And then I think there's an indication that it may be for tax sale again, at least a portion of that, which is gonna create this continued cluster between, because the other, Mr. Luna, he continues to pay his taxes on his portion, right? So but has never responded from previous attempts, I think, that you guys have done.
So if we don't do anything, then we could be talking about this 20 years from now,
Yeah.
I think it's time to take some action, at least
I
issue
think
the
so.
citations.
something.
Yeah, I think.
And at least get started.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think some instruction, and I can do that if you'd like, or one of you to reach out to Steve Thomas and have him go through some citations.
And I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone on the council, but we've been dealing with this, Warren, since you and I started, since I started on the council, and you were the town council president how many years ago?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Long time.
So I think the minimum that we can do is at least issue the citations and get that process started. And maybe have our building code, or building inspector make sure that it's safe for the neighboring residents, and then start that process.
And then report back if something's done. Like I said, there are no good options that don't cost you, and to your point, the least intrusive in terms of finances is to get that citation and get them before.
But at least then we've got documentation started so that when we start to go down the road that's a little more expensive, shall we say, then at least we've got this documentation started so that we're headed down the path.
Do we know if we maintain the property a little bit, groom it, clean it, anything, or not really?
I don't think that anyone has.
I'm not aware of anything.
Because I did last year once.
And if we send the street department out to do that, we would have to put a lien on the property for that as well.
Yeah, well,
So that would go hand in hand with anything else we do, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you could foreclose any of those liens that would be, could combine all of them.
Okay.
I don't think we need to mow it weekly, but once a quarter or something, just to keep some of the weeds down.
And we can talk to Dave about that to figure out the cost on that then.
Yeah.
And then can we get back to you as far as making sure where do we track those costs, I guess, for the liens with Crystal? Okay. Okay,
That's it.
all right. Thank you. Do we need motions for those things? I didn't think so, but. Moving on to our town engineers report. Hello, Ken.
Hello. You should have a proposal in front of you from Weaver Consultant Group to do 11
I don't
Corey's?
get anything until yesterday after my agenda was already.
Okay.
I did not hear that.
Oh, I said, they don't have the proposal in front of them. I didn't receive it until yesterday and the agenda was already made.
Oh, well, the Weaver Consulting Group, we've asked them for prices to do corings on Johnson Road and Rainbow Trail, Cool Spring Avenue, and at Red Oak and Green Tree, so that we can find out what the pavement cross-section is at those areas, so that we can use that information to develop the design for the new pavement for Johnson Road especially, but the other three places also. So once we find out what those corings are, we can use that information to help us design the new pavement for the CCMG 2025 project. So we need you to be able to approve that information or that proposal so that we can use that information with our study.
How much?
Oh, $8,150 not to exceed.
I was just pulling that up to see if I could make sure that I had that amount. And so what it would be, because I have an email, the field services would have a subtotal not to exceed $6,800, and the laboratory services would be $500. The engineering services then would be $850, so the total estimated project cost is $8,150.
Yes.
How many streets is that?
Well, it's the entire length of Johnson Road from 20 to Michigan Boulevard.
Okay.
And then it's intersection of Red Oak and Green Tree.
Yeah.
There's one on Cool Spring Avenue and one on Rainbow Trail.
And I believe it was 11 different spots that they were
Yeah,
looking at
there's 11
pouring,
of them, yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
And do we have, now this is not included in the original CCMG grant, this is an additional cost.
Right, we'd have to look into that to
So
see
we-
where we can pull that money from, because we won't have it in the CCMG.
Grant, so this is gonna be an additional cost.
So you guys would have to maybe discuss where you would want that to come out of.
Hey, Ken, what's the time frame
That was
once
just gonna
they
be my
start
next
testing?
question.
How long does it take and results?
Well, we're hoping to have it done within a couple of weeks.
Okay,
Okay,
That will tell us what's there. So like if we say we want to mill, 4 inches of asphalt, but there's only 3 inches there,
Yeah.
You can see how that would be a problem. So we need to know this information so that we can
Yeah.
put it in our design factors for
sure.
remove and replacement.
Yeah. No, I understand. Just sound like you need it pretty quick though.
Yeah, they said they could do it pretty quickly.
You could probably take some out of the riverboat if necessary.
can always approve just contingent on verification of funds and authorizing council president to sign as well, so that you're on a little more solid ground.
Are you comfortable with the riverboat funding?
I am. Do you want me to go with that?
But you're comfortable with
I'm
that?
comfortable with taking $8,000
$150
out of the riverboat. Comfortably.
Okay. So then we would have a motion to approve the expenditure not to exceed $8,150 for Weaver Consultants Group to perform their proposed work of asphalt pouring at 11 different locations on roadways within Trail Creek, contingent upon making sure that we have appropriate funding.
Make a motion.
And a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So we can move forward with that.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
I can have Jenny sign
Sam will
that.
be very happy.
I'm sure he will.
Do you want to sign that after?
And you can sign that after the meeting this evening. Anything else that you have this evening for us?
Well, I have something under Park Department, which will be next on the agenda.
Okay.
Warren called the other day asking for some information, and Warren, I love you like a brother, but without knowing exactly what the scope of work is, Ryan and Sam both were very worried about giving you a price. And even you mentioned it, saying, well, what if I say it's $500 when it comes out to $5,000? We don't know what exactly we're giving you a price for. So we really need to have a sit-down meeting with you and whoever else you think from the town, either the park board or this commission here, so that we can at least wrangle out what it is that we need to do to give you a price to do it. So, I'm sorry to give you that news tonight, but I know you've been pressing on this, and it's very much one of the things that you've been looking for the last couple of weeks, but I really can't give you a number right now.
No, yeah, no worries. I kind of anticipated that, but the rest of the story, so that everybody understands what we're talking about, and I guess we just jump into the park department.
Yep.
They had a meeting within this last couple of weeks, and one of the tasks that I was either I volunteered again or was volunteered, but was just to kind of give an idea, because they're working with grants, or want to work with grants, and whatever funding is also available for different projects, so for a 5-year plan for the parks that we have. So there was a list, and I'm kind of jumping in very little, Laura, there, Laura, you can share
That's okay.
too, but there was a list of
I've
things,
got
but
mine.
my part, they asked if I could find out, because one suggestion was, can we have a walking path around the outer perimeter of Nelson Park? So all I would do, just to get an idea, I took some dimensions and I contacted contractors to get a budget price, ballpark price. So I have that. There was also a request about a pickleball court, possibly a pickleball court idea in place of the tennis courts that we have out there, because we already have a price for that, to resurface that, one price. And so I just have one price for a brand new, because it was suggested, how about out here by the one of the Condon Diamonds, because apparently we don't, it's not used very often, at least one diamond. So I did that. I've got a price for a pickleball court. And then there was also another request of interest of, I'll call it a creek walkway. And that's to see if there was a way of creating a walkway path right along Trail Creek. Now, whether it's from Michigan Boulevard to, I call it the FOP, or FOP to Highway 20, I'm looking into that too. There's property owners there and different property owners, so we have to be careful with all that. But, so that's a part of the project. The ADA is that's where we come to Ken. I was just, when I called Ken or Ryan, I just was kind of curious what the cost would be for just a ballpark. So, because I'm not certain how grant proposals work, if they just say, hey, I need X number of money, or, do you have to have the exact detail? I don't know. But this is all in the works. And that's what I'm just working on, if that makes sense for right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to give you a price when we're not sure of what the scope is.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, and so I will go farther into this. We had a park board public meeting on 4/10. That was required before submitting the grant on 4/14. You had to present all the things that the public had brought to your attention that they possibly wanted. Whether or not, we had to come up with a maximum of 10 suggestions to apply for this grant. And we did. We had excellent turnout. We had 12 residents come this last one. And plus Warren was there and Pete was there. And we explained the proposed plans, and they came back with that suggestion for the pickleball here. And we really needed you there to organize the meeting, because we got a little bit off track because, we had our suggestions already. But Katrina did submit the grant in a timely fashion in 4/14. So we're all official. And this plan is just a basic submitting. You can alter it. So that was the proposals brought forward. So we don't know, Ken, exactly what we want. We'll iron that out.
Yeah.
And
Well, like Ryan had in that email that he sent out, it would be great to have a sit-down meeting, everybody in the same room, talk about what it is they want to do, so that we can have a better idea of what it is you want us.
The next park board meeting is May 1st of this year at 5:30 p.m. right here. If you guys could make it. If not, we can do some kind of alternate plan, but there's a regularly scheduled meeting on May 1st. Yep,
At what time?
5:30. It's a Thursday. And that's about all I have on that. Just a lot of ideas came forward. I mean,
Yeah, Ken, and everybody, one of my points is that we don't want to be surprised with a bill that, we say, for instance, hypothetical, Ryan started working on something real quick, and then Tim wants to know, hey, how are we getting paid? We don't want to get there yet. We're not even close to that.
yeah.
So as long as he's free, I'm good for that.
Yeah, well, definitely bring it up at the next time I talk with him.
Yeah.
We do need to get the ADA proposal outlined. Well, the state requires that, we have at Nelson Park, we've installed ADA equipment, but there is not a pathway to it. And there's not paved parking to it. So we're not considered to be in compliance.
Right.
Because We have the equipment, but you can't get to it.
Yeah, we went through this several years ago, I guess. And that's when you had Doug Buell take a look at it. I have never seen that report, but I guess Warren dropped off a copy of it the other day at our office. So we have at least a start.
Yeah, we definitely have to. The other stuff is just dream or wish list, but we have to have that ADA stuff. So.
Yeah. And we've done this sort of thing before for
Yes.
other communities, so I'm sure Ryan is very familiar with that stuff.
Okay. That's about it for me.
Okay. Our building inspector is not present, although I do know that he did finish installing the door here. He's got to do some adjustments to the door that he has to complete, and then he has to finish some of the trim work around that door for us. So that part of his project here within the town hall is almost complete. I also know that he's going to be busy with roofing season coming about, and especially with all the storm damage we've had throughout the town. He should be pretty busy with those things fairly soon. I don't believe we've had any meetings for planning and zoning, which brings up our police department.
Before you start, can I bring up something since Pete's not here?
You can.
I did call Pete and talk to Shem on a privately retained matter for Shem, the subdivision.
Oh,
I do know
yes.
that is going to resurface.
Okay,
So, because Pete was liaison, I called him within the last couple of weeks, just
Yes.
to give heads up, but it's gonna be important that you have a constituted BZA and plan commission, because those submissions are being updated, and I would imagine you're gonna have those here in the next month or so too, but making sure
okay. So we'll have to set a meeting date as a council for that within the next month.
yeah, just to try to find those members, because I know there was uncertainty, so
Yes.
just so they're prepared.
Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll make this quick. I think it was about 7, 8 years ago, we remodeled our apartment, our building, and at that time, we had new desktops. They're now obsolete. I just wanted to pass along that I am working on somebody donating new desktops for us. So as part of the plan, I was hoping I have an answer for tonight, but I don't have that yet. I've talked to you about it, but we may have to sign something agreeing that the town accepts this donation. I'll run that past Chris if I happen to get that in advance and go from there. But I did talk to PJ because part of the issue is we're kind of archaic over there. Initially, the server was in our building and we used it, and we used it to our advantage. Now it's back where it belongs over here. The nice thing is I think the buildings are connected, so part of the plan is to connect to this server, block off a section for the police department, and then we'll have a server that we can use, and we'll be able to communicate with the town electronically, documents that they may need. But PJ is aware of that, so I just want to keep you in the loop on that. As I have more information, I'll pass that along to you.
Okay, fantastic. Nice donation.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Question then on, I'm sure you got a handle on it, I'm just curious. So when you switch computers, files, legal, delete, where
Yeah,
archive?
what we're gonna do is, because I talked to PJ yesterday, I saw him, and I told him what we want to do is take everything that's on the hard drives that we currently have, put them on the new machines, and then we'll have to destroy the old ones.
Yeah.
Unless there's some use for them, but yeah, we'll take them.
Yeah.
We don't just put them out by the street.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you had like the cloud, wherever the files are at, not to worry. Okay. Very good.
As always, thank you and your staff for your continued work.
The guys appreciate all your support, we really do. Thank you.
Moving on to the street department. I know they've been busy getting ready, completing a lot of storm cleanup, but getting ready more recently for storm cleanup. or spring cleanup rather. That's been a point of contention lately, especially since they're only part-timers. I did get a report from Mr. Baker today. He apologizes for being unable to be here this evening, but spring cleanup is well underway. He says that they have moved several loads of sticks, limbs, and branches, and as of today, they've picked up everything from Michigan Boulevard all the way to Cool Spring Ave, and they're going to start working south of Cool Spring Ave tomorrow morning. But first, they're going to have a leaf machine out to collect leaves that are currently out. They will have it out later as necessary once cleanup is over. With regard to storm damage, they have collected 37 loads of storm damage over the last 2 weeks. Everything else that is out there around the shop is good to go. They've got all the trucks converted away from the salt spreaders, so they're ready for spring and summer. So all the salt spreaders are put away, plows are put away, all of that is done. One note that he did want to make is that if there are sticks, limbs, branches, or significant piles of brush that people have put out that are not storm damaged, that are personal, shall we say, large piles of brush, whole trees, large bushes, those kinds of things that are significant piles that are personal things, we will as a town not be clearing those for residents or cleaning them up. So if residents do have those piled out by the street, they need to clean those up by themselves or call someone to have those cleared. And so if we notice that there are residents specifically that have those by the street, we will be contacting them directly. Also, the dumpster in the back was recently changed out, so if there are residents that need to change or use that is cleared. And other than that, he thanks us as well as he does for our continued support of his staff. And if we have any questions, we can contact him directly.
So just a clarification, the dumpster out back, what can, or how you want to address it, can or should go in there?
I don't have that answer for you.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe you had that answer.
No, I didn't have that. I just was kind of curious.
I thought it was just not yard
It's,
waste.
yeah,
and
not yard
It's
waste.
not branches and
Right.
stuff like that, it's like
Fine.
a couch,
Large
a mattress.
items. It's meant for large items that will not fit into your waste bins.
Concrete, tires, batteries, electronics, things like that.
So no concrete, batteries, tires, construction materials.
I think it's shingles. I think-
Shingles specifically? Okay. So no hazardous waste, basically.
A lot of that, doesn't that go out to Hitchcock?
What's that?
Would you,
Tires.
yeah,
So
all that.
the county is
Electronics.
looking at doing a hazardous waste collection. They do one through the solid waste district
Yeah.
every so often. They are looking at doing a tire amnesty day. I believe that's on the commissioner's agenda actually for tomorrow night with the solid waste district.
Okay,
And they do have an electronics recycling site out on Hitchcock Road as
Yeah.
well as a second one in LaPorte.
Yep.
So people can take advantage of those sites. Those are free collection sites.
I think electronics moved over to central services
Okay,
on Russell.
good to know.
Yes.
So electronics is over on Russell.
Yep.
Okay. So, any other questions for Mr. Baker can be directed to him specifically. Anything for NERC?
not too much, I just, sorry. I am kind of backing up into the park area, talking to other commissioners there regarding grants and park improvements and things like that, just to inquire around, since I'm kind of new at NERC, so. They gave me a couple of names, and so our next meeting I'll be talking to them.
That's cool.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, moving on to new business. We have the ADA park improvements. Would you say we've already covered that, or do we need to still discuss that?
Unless Warren has anything else,
We're good
that we're
right
good.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll move on to Resolution 2-2025, the annual contract for uploads and affirmations, which we all should have a copy in front of us. And this is the resolution of the town of Trail Creek regarding annual contract uploads and affirmations And Crystal, if you want to tell us a little bit more about what this is, I believe this is just saying that you're uploading contracts into Gateway as we have for some time now.
Yes, so this specifically, the DLGF now requires you to upload your fire contract or EMS contracts. So this is allowing me to be able to upload that on Gateway.
Okay. And so, council members, if you haven't already, if you would please read through this resolution. I don't believe we need to read the entire thing out loud.
No, and this is more form than substance, and one of those that ultimately is them filling in because the council is the one who's technically authorized, but it gets pushed up on the clerk treasurers, and they're the ones who actually input the data and upload things. So it really is kind of a push for all. Everybody is scrambling to get this approved because the protocol has been the clerk treasurers upload and do these things, but they want to see the authorization form.
Okay. So if we can have a motion to approve upon first reading resolution number 2-2025, a resolution of the town of Trail Creek regarding annual contract uploads and affirmations.
I move to approve resolution number 2-2025.
And a second,
Second.
Oh, that's true.
do we have any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. And motion carries. Do we have any public comment this evening? If you would approach the microphone, please turn that on, state your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Carol Tashima. I live at 1927 East Cool Spring. I have two things. We've been there for 40 years and I have a white picket fence in front, and due to the ordinance, we've had to take pieces apart and fix it, and take pieces apart and fix it. And it's wood, and I would like to transition to vinyl. And I'm wondering if there was a way we can take the whole thing down and then put the new one back up, because I know at one time they said we were grandfathered in for the fence, but we could only take it down in pieces at a time and not take the whole thing down and put it back up. Is there any change in that, or?
I don't know the answer to that.
So in the ordinance, it says you're not allowed to have a fence in your front yard.
Right, past the front of your home.
Right.
And then people who have had them there for a number of years would be grandfathered in.
Right.
Prior to that.
But like I said, in the past, they said, we can take, you can take a chunk
Sections.
down, fix that, take another chunk down, but since I want to change from the wood to the vinyl, it would be a simpler process to take the whole thing down and put the new one up, but I don't want to find out that I take it down and can't put it back up.
It's actually a question that's probably more appropriate for your building commissioner. However, the spirit of non-conformance is usually can repair, replace, right? So if it's similar, replacing and putting in the same spot, you're usually not penalizing or taking away that grandfather status, as long as it's, like I said, same.
I mean, they were
similar.
just kind of picky at it in the past, and I'm just trying to see if anything
So
changed.
would it would be a similar fence or
It
the
would be
same?
exactly the same, except it would be vinyl. It would be the biggest of that, so
Within 3 feet tall.
maintenance, right,
And size-wise, it would be the identical size?
pretty close, yeah. I mean, I haven't bought the materials yet, but yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I guess what
So I didn't
I'm
know how
asking
many-
is you're not gonna put up like a 6-foot privacy fence in the
No,
front
no, not
yard.
right.
It's gonna be,
Picket.
you know, a similar sized picket fence, so it's gonna be similar size and
Right.
style.
Do I need to submit something in writing to do that, or?
Just curious, roughly. So you're saying too, that your fence must go beyond your front of your house, goes to the street?
We're the only house on Trail Creek with a fence in front of it, so if you go down Cool Spring.
Cool Spring, yeah.
Cool Spring and Yankee.
Between Cool Spring and Yankee,
Oh, yeah.
there's already a fence there.
Good. Oh, I understand. Yeah,
And like I said, we've been there for 40 years and we've replaced it.
at least 40.
Thank
Thanks, Mark.
The veteran experienced Trail Creek residents
That's right.
who would like to replace the fence that they already have in existence with a similar fence is what she's asking.
Right.
Yeah,
Would you
all
have
of
a
which is
problem?
verified.
I have no
Yeah.
problem.
And like I said, in the past, they said, yeah, you can do that, but you can't take the whole thing down and put a new one up. You have to, which seems counterintuitive.
As long as it's the same height, I don't
I
see
would say
anything.
as long as it's the same or similar height,
Height
It would be as close to the same as I could.
yeah,
I think that would,
I would
I
say
don't think that
that's
anyone
fine.
here
I
would
wouldn't think
take
it's
issue
probably-
with that.
If it were an issue, they'd go before the BZA.
Right.
So
Yeah.
somebody, they need to fill out an application, it's easily verifiable, there's a thumbs up, thumbs down. If they don't get it, they can appeal it to the BZA, so.
I think my only concern would be that you make sure that your contractor is registered with the town and that everything gets
Sure.
permitted
Oh, yeah.
properly.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that is considered a contracting matter, it wouldn't be like.
You'd want to make sure that you contact your building inspector and make sure that everything is, that
Okay,
you're
I would make sure
permitted
that that would
properly.
come under that.
Yeah, there's also some concerns about vision, looking eastbound
yeah, that's,
Yankee Road is really
That's
a
why-
concern there.
So yeah, make sure that you do contact Steve Thomas, he's our building inspector.
I have it.
And if you want to, you can contact our town marshal as well to make sure that the visual is there
Well, I
for drivers.
okay, at the corner, it goes around the corner about that far, and it's not, it's low, it's.
yeah, it's very,
Okay.
yeah,
It's only like 3 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's low, and it's big, so.
yeah.
So,
My other issue is my ongoing saga with 1929 East Cold Spring, my hoarder neighbor. An officer came out and spoke to me a couple days ago when I had called, when I stopped in the office, about a vehicle that she has in her driveway that is non-functional. I mean, that's just one small thing, and I was going through this afternoon, I went through some of the ordinances from Trail Creek, and there's probably a page full that have been non-compliant on their part on this, and this was a year ago that I was here and showed pictures to everybody. That was a year ago, exactly a year ago. And it just keeps getting, the piles keep getting bigger. There's boxes of stuff out there that have to be a concern for vermin. It has to be. If you've got boxes piled this deep and this high on the side of your house, yeah. I just, it feels like I keep being at a standstill here, and I don't.
Steve, what, at this time, I remember this conversation, what happened last year?
Well, there was contact made with their attorney, and they wanted time to avoid legal proceedings.
His attorney?
Their attorney.
and was there any action taken with cleanup?
No.
Nothing was done, nothing's been-
They were
nothing's
supposed to have done it, and
No.
I remember them calling, saying that
Oh,
it was
yeah.
in the back of their yard and that there's no ordinance saying they can't have.
No,
No, that's not.
it's at the side.
No, this is a resident.
This is
No.
the side,
It's
it's in
the
the back,
side.
it's in the,
yeah.
it's, in-
You can
and
see it.
she tries to get around this in the front by having about 8 or 9 old picnic tables, and she puts them in the front of the yard saying, okay, well, this is my picnic table seating area, and it's not, nothing there is functional.
I'm looking,
So they have an attorney that manages a special needs trust for them.
Right.
This
So I
is
think that we
another-
need to contact that attorney
Well,
again.
I think it's very similar to Harding though.
Mhm.
I think it's time that you cite them. Mr. Herbach's office previously dealt with, and I think
Yes.
unless and until you actually do those things, it will be the same. They're trustee or managing attorneys, they're downstate, they're not local, they handle and pay their bills, but they really have no day-to-day, there's not an authority type thing for decisions, so it's very similar to Harding that, you know, what do you do? And I think the starting point and least intrusive to funds is to actually go through and cite and do those things.
If you would, please.
Yeah.
Well,
Some-
I'll get with Mr. Thomas and we can send that same order in terms of compliance that says, you know, you have this many days. So it gives you flexibility if you were to go in and want to clean up. But I think the citations for whatever violations that
She's gonna scream.
whatever violations that Mr. Thomas might find.
Okay.
I think you're probably gonna have to take the marshal's office with you.
I don't know.
Either one of the officers will need to go.
I just feel like this has been an ongoing issue. It's just continuing, and like I said, you can stand in my driveway and look over there and you just be appalled.
Okay.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we should know something for
Yeah.
sure by the next month, this time.
Like I said, this has been
Yes.
quite a while.
Yes.
Carol, if I hear anything with an update, I'll call you.
Thank you, guys.
My name is Dennis Hunter, and Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I'm a veteran. I live at 135 Johnson Road. Good evening, board, and to all. I come bearing gifts. I'm affiliated with a company for the youth, and they have a mobile skating rink, and they can go regional wide to people and throw parties with this skating rink, and they have, I forget, the guns. I forget, the toy guns, I forget what it was. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm sorry, went blank. But yes, they have laser tag. That's what it is. They have laser tag. They have mobile skating rinks and everything. And everybody in Northwest Indiana and everything is really enjoying this. And I just moved down here, like I said, the last time I was here, and I've been moving and running and doing a lot. But yes, we have laser tag. We have a mobile skating rink, and we've been going everywhere. And the kids, and even the family. It's not just for the kids, but it's mainly for the youth to give them something to do. And it's an amazing skating rink, the laser tag, everybody's having fun and everything. And so I'll bring that to you. That's one of the things. Another thing, we we merged over with our club, merged over to Envision You. And this club is a worldwide club, and it envisions you healthy and envisions you wealthy. It's a health and wellness club. And we're worldwide, we're in over 40 countries, and they do a lot of things, but I'm gonna tell you about the main thing. Some of the things we do vacations, we do cruises. They got online instructors helping you with all the new stuff, Bitcoin, AI, cryptocurrency, day trading, anything you want to learn. They got it to help you with and everything. And you can make money from this club. That's where the wellness and the wealth come in at. You can get paid once you join, $50 for the year.
I have to stop you there because I can't have you advertising a
Okay.
club here at the meeting.
Okay, well, I also, this is what I really want to say. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
They came out with a new cappuccino. Can I say that?
If it's advertising it, no.
Okay, can't see. Well, thank you.
So thank you for your time, though. If you have information you want to leave, you're more than welcome to leave a flyer with the
Yes.
clerk's office.
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody comes in and wants the information, then we're happy to share that, but,
Okay.
you know, I can't have you advertising that here at the meeting. I'm
All
sorry.
right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other public comment?
Good evening. My name is Dorothy Wysocki, and my husband and I reside at 2520 South Lesky. I would ask nicely if it would be possible to get that temporary speed reading apparatus back that we had on Rescue Road last year that was taken down for maintenance. I guess there's a battery and something else that has to be changed, because now that the weather's warmer, from our house to Kildare, there was about 7 or 8 children between walking, bikes, playing. That's just a disaster. And the people that don't stop at the sign, it's just straight through all the way to Michigan City Highway, because there's nothing to stop it.
Well, Dorothy, the gentleman you need to speak to is sitting right behind you.
So I'm gonna get to you later.
I can see how fast she moves. I got that.
So I think that he hears your request
Right.
loud and clear.
But when I called today, I mentioned that, and they suggested that I come to the meeting.
Okay,
So this is why I'm here.
perfect.
Other than that, this was our first winter in Trail Creek, because we just moved here March of last year. and the snow removal.
Mhm.
I think they did a phenomenal job. I just wanted to say thank you,
Thank you.
because that was some combinations of nasties. Could have been way worse, but my neighbor, who I guess likes to predict Armageddon, yes, he does. It was nowhere near as bad as what she said, and they just did a really nice job. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank
That
you
was it.
very much. We'll make sure that gets passed along, and
Yes.
thank you very much for the
You're very
compliment. I don't know that we have any other public comment here this evening. And so with that, do we have any closed comments?
No comment.
Okay.
We have another public comment.
Oh, looks like we have an online public comment.
We have multiple online public
Oh,
comments
okay.
regarding the audio for today. And
Thank you.
as politely as I can, I'll give the commission a 7 out of 10. We could do a little better with the turning on and off of the microphones. There was actually a specific comment from a fellow named Greg saying that he could not hear the last public comment and that it seemed secretive. So definitely no secrets, but
There are no secrets.
please do remember
Okay.
to turn the microphones on and turn them off whenever you're done speaking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I'm gonna add that, I believe, that these microphones are directional, more directional, as opposed to talking over here.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be right at it, so they'll pick you up, so just so everybody knows.
Thank you. So that last comment that we had, that last public comment, was asking for the temporary speed sign to be moved back to Risky Avenue in front of a specific home if possible. Also saying that their first winter as residents here in Trail Creek, they were impressed on the snow removal with our street department. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Moving forward, and thank you for the public comment online. Do we have any council comments for the evening?
Not this time.
Double checking on that side of me. Any council comments? Okay. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
So, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
I figured.